Consider the greatest player in the history of global basketball, the man who revolutionized the history of the sport. Today, in our episode of The Hero's Journey, we'll tell the victorious story of the legend, Michael Jordan. And today you realize that his extraordinary achievements inspire not only sports fans, because Jordan also has many life lessons about commitment, dedication, and discipline. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was born on February 17, 1963. He's the son of James and Dolores. Shortly after Jordan learned to walk, his family moved from Brooklyn, New York to Wilmington, North Carolina, and the family remained there throughout Jordan's childhood. His father worked as a mechanic at General Electric, and his mother worked as a bank teller to help support the family. In his childhood, Michael Jordan's education was not much different from any other child his age. As a student, he was average, nothing exceptional. When he entered Trask Middle School, however, his interest in sports became clear, and he excelled in basketball as well as in American football and baseball. As a pitcher in the Wilmington Little League, Jordan performed amazingly playing baseball. His father James, whom he was very close to throughout his life, was passionate about baseball. But Jordan, contrary to his father's initial wishes, decided that basketball was the sport he liked the most. This may have been influenced by Larry, his older brother, who was a basketball fan. The rivalry between Michael Jordan and his brother Larry was also the first step on his path to stardom. Indeed, Larry was also a very good athlete, and playing with him stimulated and honed Jordan's skills in elementary and high school. Larry could have very well become an excellent professional basketball player if he had grown a bit taller. At 1.76 meters, he simply couldn't continue a professional career in the sport. It has been widely documented that while in his sophomore year of high school, he failed to make the basketball team. There are several explanations for this, such as his height at the time being 1.80 meters, or that his skills were not yet well established, or, more likely, that it was simply because he was still very young. And at that age, 1 year makes a big difference in the physical performance of young people. At the time, only one sophomore made the team, which was Leroy Smith, who was already 2 meters tall. Leroy played basketball with Jordan almost every day. Then, according to Leroy himself, Jordan began to focus on all aspects of the game with an intensity that he had never seen before. This also occurred due to Jordan's personality, according to his values of hard work and dedication. One of his quotes can sum up this period well: "You must expect great things of yourself before you can do them." Motivated to prove his worth, Michael Jordan became the star of the youngest boy team at school, scoring over 40 points in a series of games. He was so good that the junior team's games became popular with everyone. During the summer, Jordan and his friend Leroy attended a basketball camp, and by then, Jordan had grown about 10 centimeters since the previous year, and this time he made the school's main team. After that happened, as they say, the rest is history. According to a 1998 article by Kevin Sherrington of the Dallas Morning News, during the first game of the high school team, Michael scored 35 points. And in his 2 seasons on the team, he averaged 25 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 5.3 assists. Although Jordan certainly improved from sophomore to junior year, many still did not believe he would become the player he turned out to be. But as time went on, it became increasingly clear that Michael Jordan was different, and his future in basketball would be brilliant. In the summer between his junior and senior year of high school, he was invited to the basketball training camp run by Howard Garfinkel in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. But when Jordan arrived, he was extremely nervous and felt that he somehow did not belong there. He certainly had good reasons to be apprehensive, since Garfinkel was a big name in the sport and had already recruited well-known basketball players. That was the year of 1980, and if you follow the NBA in the 90s, you've probably also heard of Patrick Ewing and Karl Malone. Well, along with Michael Jordan, they also participated in that training camp. In later interviews, Jordan referred to that summer in Honesdale as the turning point in his life. He was considered the best player on the court in the first training session, and the only reason he did not receive the same designation in the second session was the result of a rule in which players could not receive the best player awards consecutively. In total, Jordan was awarded MVP 7 times during the period with Garfinkel. However, the most important thing was that he received a special ranking after the end of the camp. Garfinkel placed him among the top 10 possible players to be recruited in the country, and 2 other prominent scouts placed him in the first position. For you to understand the weight of Howard Garfinkel, it's important to know that he has also trained names like LeBron James, Isaiah Thomas, Carmelo Anthony, and Kevin Durant. So this was definitely an opportunity that Jordan took full advantage of. Before the invitation to that camp, a coach named Dean Smith was already keeping an eye on him, but kept Jordan as a secret. But after the camp, other coaches learned about the boy and started following the games at the school where Jordan played. As Dean Smith was really committed to recruiting Michael to the University of North Carolina, he sent his assistant, Roy Williams, to follow Jordan even more closely. Smith instructed him not to tell anyone in the media about this boy and to bring him to the basketball camp at the university next summer. Williams was successful in both requests. Jordan went to the camp and blew away the competition. The team was also very impressed with his thirst for knowledge and pursuit of really mastering the fundamentals. Smith intended to keep Jordan's talent a secret, so he wouldn't have to get involved in a battle to recruit him. But he realized that the young man's talent would not remain a secret forever, and Michael Jordan was also approached by other universities. During his senior year of high school, Michael Jordan put on a real show on the courts, enchanting spectators, players, and scouts with his dunks, skills, and scoring ability. Yet, Jordan was not the top candidate in terms of recruitment ranking. Despite all the attention from other universities such as Duke, Syracuse, and Virginia, Michael Jordan chose the University of North Carolina, and his family's influence also played a significant role in his decision, as they were pleased with the university. Right in his freshman year at college, Jordan played a prominent role on the basketball team. He was awarded Rookie of the Year and helped the team win the basketball championship for the 81 and 82 seasons of the NCAA, which is the main college championship in the United States, where it is played at a very high level not only in basketball but also in other sports. In his second season, he was named College Player of the Year by Sport News, but his team did not reach the final. In the following season, Jordan accumulated more individual awards, but the University of North Carolina again did not reach the finals. After feeling that he had done everything he could in college basketball, Michael Jordan decided it was time to take the next step, which in case was to go professional and pursue his path in the NBA, the most competitive basketball championship in the world. Jordan's mother, Dolores, was deeply opposed to this decision, as she wanted her son to graduate from university. But Jordan's father and even his coach, Dean Smith, supported his decision. He would simply be limited if he continued playing at the college level. And so, in 1984, Michael Jordan became a well-regarded name for the NBA draft. Many are surprised to learn that Michael was not the first choice during the draft. It was only in the third round of choices that the Chicago Bulls decided to recruit Michael Jordan. When Jordan got off the plane at O'Hare Airport in Chicago to start one of the most spectacular careers in the history of all sports, he mentioned in interviews that he was disappointed because his new NBA team had not sent anyone to greet him. Jordan's debut in the NBA occurred on October 26, 1984, and he scored 16 points, had 6 rebounds and 6 assists in the Bulls' victory. It didn't take long for fans, the NBA in general, and the rest of the planet to get to know Michael Jordan. Indeed, even at the start of the season, Jordan managed to score 27 points in a Bulls loss to the Boston Celtics in Chicago. And Larry Bird, star of the opposing team, said,
"It wasn't Michael Jordan out there, it was God disguised as Michael Jordan."
Point blank, I never seen nobody play like he plays, and I mean, you can include all of them.
Jordan was also invited to participate in the 1985 NBA All-Star Game, which brings together the best players of the season. The signs that he would be a star in the NBA were already showing, but he had to work hard to make it a reality. Dedication always walked hand in hand with Jordan's career. With each season that passed, Jordan was gaining more and more his place and respect throughout the basketball community. He enchanted everyone with his brilliant plays. The rivalry between the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls was growing, and in the 1991 season, Jordan's team managed to break the rivals' hegemony, and the Chicago Bulls reached the NBA Finals. During this period, Jordan was already considered the leader of the Bulls on and off the court, and under his command, the team defeated the Los Angeles Lakers, becoming champion that season. It was Jordan's first NBA title. Scottie Pippen, who played with Jordan for many years in Chicago, said that his leadership was very strong and positive. According to Pippen, Michael's greatness and level of confidence really propelled the Bulls to win that championship. Although he was exceptional individually, Michael Jordan had a very strong team spirit and inspires everyone to do their best.
For sure. I mean, you look at the MVPs that he was able to achieve, but I think it was all brought from us being successful as a team. Obviously, someone is going to bring those accolades home, but yeah, he was the greatest player, definitely in basketball.
In the 2 seasons that followed, the hegemony of the Chicago Bulls led by Michael Jordan continued, making the team win 3 consecutive NBA championships. Jordan was the best player in the finals in those 3 titles. At 29, he was reaching the peak of his NBA career, and many began to wonder if the Chicago Bulls would be dethroned as champion. The answer would come the next season, but not in the way anyone could have really predicted. On July 23, 1993, an unthinkable tragedy occurred. During a robbery, Michael's father, James Jordan, was brutally murdered and dumped in a swamp. Michael was very close to his father, and the news of his death deeply shook him. After 3 consecutive NBA titles and being at the peak of his career, Michael Jordan decided to leave basketball to play baseball. This career change was a way for Michael to honor his father, who always wanted him to become a baseball player, and was a much bigger fan of baseball than basketball. But at that time, because Jordan had focused so much of his energies on basketball, he no longer had the same familiarity with baseball as he had when he was younger. Initially, Jordan was going to play for the Chicago White Sox, a Major League Baseball team from the first division of American baseball, but he ended up being transferred to the Birmingham Barons in Alabama to play in less prestigious leagues. This change of Jordan at the peak of his basketball career to become just another in baseball seemed unbelievable to everyone, and rightly so, because Jordan hadn't trained in that sport for more than a decade. Even so, Jordan maintained the same determination and work ethic that made him a 3-time NBA champion. Every day he arrived early and stayed late training. In 1994, the Birmingham Barons had the largest media coverage and exposure in their history. However, Jordan did not manage to stand out as much and evolved the necessary to play with the best in the sport, the Major League Baseball. He still played briefly for the Scottsdale Scorpions, but soon in March 1995, he decided to leave baseball and announce his return to the NBA. As his legendary number 23 jersey had been retired by the Bulls in his honor the previous year, Jordan returned to the Chicago team with number 45. Before making the final decision to return, Jordan did some workouts with the Bulls. Luck Longley, a player on the team at the time, said he could see the love for the game returning in Jordan's eyes. And a quote from Jordan himself that exemplifies his strength of will is,
"I've always believed that if you put in the work, the results will come. I don't do things half-heartedly, because I know if I do, then I can expect half-hearted results."
Many people began to wonder if he could do again everything he had done before, and Michael actually played well in his comeback season, but not like in his years when he was at his peak. In the end, the Chicago Bulls ended up being eliminated in the playoffs by the Orlando Magic. But as soon as the next season began, from the first day of training, it was evident that Jordan was on a mission. He was in incredible shape and extremely motivated to win. It's worth noting that it was during this preseason that Jordan made the recordings for the animated film Space Jam, and he trained a lot during the breaks from filming. He went into that season with an incredible determination to prove that he still had the capacity and a lot of willpower to regain his place at the top. And in that season, the Chicago Bulls set a record with 72 wins and only 10 losses. Jordan then returned to his hegemony on the court and led the Bulls to win another NBA title. In the 2 seasons that followed, Jordan also led the Chicago team to 2 more NBA titles, becoming a 6-time champion. And as if that wasn't enough, he was also considered the best player of the finals in all those championships. One of Jordan's most incredible games occurred in an NBA final in 1997. The Chicago Bulls faced the Utah Jazz, led by Karl Malone. On that day, Jordan was not feeling well at all. In the early hours of the day before the game, he was sweating like crazy and could barely get out of bed. He had a severe virus and lay in the room until hours before the game. The people from the Chicago Bulls told him not to enter the court, but he insisted that he wanted to play. And in the end, Michael entered the game and scored a total of 38 points, with 15 of those points coming in the last quarter. And thus, even being ill, he led his team once again towards victory. The coach of his team, Phil Jackson, could not believe what he had just seen. And later he said,
"He is suffering from flu-like symptoms."
We had to help him into the locker room. It may be a believer. Not in luck or faith.
You can see how exhausted Michael Jordan
but in
is.
the will to win. You win from within.
Classic performance.
Many speculate that had he not stepped away from basketball to play baseball, the Chicago Bulls might have won 8 consecutive NBA titles. But regardless, Michael Jordan definitely left his mark on basketball and had nothing more to prove. So he retired for the second time in 1999, ending his career on a high note. Many people recognize him as the best basketball player of all time, and his retirement was the end of an era. In 2000, he became one of the owners of an NBA team, the Washington Wizards. In September 2001, after months of rumors, Jordan announced that he was coming out of retirement to play for the Wizards at 38 years old. However, Jordan did not have as much success on the court for the Washington team as he had for the Bulls. His last NBA game occurred in Philadelphia on August 7, 2004. As the game came to an end, Jordan was applauded for about 3 minutes by his teammates, opponents, officials, and more than 20,000 fans. Now I'll make a brief mention of Michael's participation in the Olympic Games. Jordan participated in the famous Dream Team, which is still considered by many to be the best basketball team of all time. The Dream Team features stars like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, and of course Michael Jordan. And to conclude this video, here's another inspiring quote from Michael Jordan.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
If you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends. And if you'd like to learn more about the journey of ordinary people who became real-life heroes, then subscribe to our channel to receive our upcoming episodes. The hero's journey ends here. Until next time.